Tommy V in Michigan. He was on fire this morning.
Okay, thank you, Tommy V in Michigan. Yes, sir. If you share my prayers.
Tommy V's on. Yeah, we'll jump over there.
Tommy V doing great stuff over there.
All right.
Thank you. You may take your seats. They know you're ready to call.
Right.
Folks, good morning. We are on the record today for the 28th Circuit Court for Wexford County. And we're going to take up the case here of People of the State of Michigan versus Sean Patrick Cassidy. This is file number 24-13855FH. Appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nate Carnes on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. William Barnett on behalf of Sean Cassidy, appearing by Zoom today. We have no objections as to that.
Thank you. Mr. Cassidy joins us via Zoom from the Wexford County Jail. Sir, are you able to see and hear us this morning?
I am.
Thank you. We are here today for a plea. I understand that this is coming quite quickly. Looks like the felony information was just filed in this court after having been bound over from the 84th District Court. And again, I understand that we're here for a plea. Mr. Carnes, why don't you please state for us the agreement?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's my understanding that Mr. Cassidy will be entering a guilty plea to an added count 2 of flee and elude in the 4th degree under the penal code.
4th degree?
Yep.
Okay.
That is MCL 750.479 subsection A2.
That's a
2-year, I don't know if it's a felony or a high court misdemeanor, honestly.
It'll be a 2-year felony punishment of fine of $2,000 up to
2 years and up to $2,000. And also, even though it does not fall under the motor vehicle code, I believe the Secretary of State can still take action on license.
Yeah, I've talked to my client about that. He recognizes that we're assuming there's going to be, and if he's lucky and there's not, but my understanding is they'll take action even though it's not technically a traffic offense, and there'll be a punishment coming on the civil side of his license status.
One moment here, just want to take a quick look. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. There's also an agreement that the people will, so long as the defendant has no issues on bond, the people will be recommending he be sentenced under HIDA. And also, the people are seeking restitution for damage to a vehicle that is the registered owner is Tobias. I think I might have. Tobias Reiner, last name R-Y-N-E-R. We don't have that amount yet.
Yep, go ahead.
That's the only part that was just told to me this morning. And my client wishes it's a reasonable request. It actually comes along with crimes like this naturally anyway, but I wanted the court to know we don't have a figure. I want my client to know we don't have a figure, but they did throw out the idea that if there's restitution, that the owner of the car, there was some damage done to the car. We're not sure how that panned out with insurance, and or if the insurance company would step in the shoes of first name Toby, the owner of the car. But that's a possibility. We would like to talk about bond as well. I know bond is just mentioned.
Let's get through the first step. All right. All right, Mr. Cassidy, have you heard what the attorneys have just explained to me as the agreement in this case?
I did, yeah.
Is that how you wish to resolve today's case, sir?
Yeah, it is.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the information and testimony you're about to provide shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
You may lower your hand. All right, Mr. Cassidy, we're going to ask you some questions. And then we're going to talk about what the plea is. Then we're going to talk about your rights. First, looking back here on May 5th of this year, were you on probation or parole at that time?
I was not.
Were you on bond pending any other felony charges at that time?
No.
Now, right now, you are charged on a piece of paper called a felony information, which is just simply a charging document. You are charged on that document with a single count of flee and elude a police officer as a traffic offense. And it is in the 3rd degree. It's a felony punishable by up to 5 years and or up to $1,000. Plus, the Secretary of State would be required to suspend your license or would suspend your license for 1 year. I'm told today that you are going to plead guilty to a different count that will be considered an added count 2. That added count 2 would be for a offense called failure to obey the direction of a police officer, also known as a flee and call it a flee and elude. This failure to call it is a flee and elude. They use the terminology different, somewhat the same, but somewhat differently versus the motor vehicle code. So I'm just going to go back and state you'll be pleading guilty to an added count to a flee and elude or failure to obey a police officer's direction as a 4th degree. That is a felony punishable by up to 2 years and or up to $2,000. Additionally, the Secretary of State would most likely take sanctions against your driver's license, which would be done pursuant to the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code. If you enter that plea of guilty and it's accepted today, count 1, the original 5-year felony, will be dismissed. So far, is that what you understood you were doing today?
Yes, it is.
Now, there's an additional term or condition that is really just a recommendation. It's not binding upon the court. The prosecutor has stated that when it comes time to sentencing, it will recommend that you be placed upon HYTA status. HYTA stands for the Holmes Youthful Training Act, and it's available to adults who are between the ages of 18 and 24. And if I place you on that status, you would be on a period of probation. And then if you successfully completed that period of probation, the charge would then be dismissed. However, that's not a guarantee. If at sentencing, I do not place you on that status, you still can't withdraw your plea. But the prosecutor has agreed to support and recommend that you be placed upon HYTA status. Is that what you understood, sir?
Yes, it is.
Now, by pleading guilty to this added count 2, you will not have a trial of any kind, and you will be given up certain rights that you would otherwise have at a trial. Now, I have in front of me a piece of paper that's entitled Advice of Rights. It's been presented to me by your attorney. At the bottom, it appears to have your signature. Did you go over this document with your attorney, sir?
Yep.
And did you place your signature on the bottom?
Yes, I did.
And did you read through those rights before you signed it?
Yep.
And did you understand them, sir?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
All right. And do you understand that by pleading guilty, if that plea is accepted, you will be waiving those rights?
I do.
Additionally, if the plea is accepted, you will be given up the right to claim that the plea was a result of any promises, threats, or inducements not disclosed to the court today on the record, or that the plea was not of your own free choice. Are you entering this plea of your own free choice, Mr. Cassidy?
Yes, I am.
Have there been any other promises, threats, or inducements to force or compel you to plead guilty that we haven't talked about yet?
Your Honor.
No.
There is a added portion of the plea that came this morning, which I do recommend my client to continue to enter his plea here, but there's a possibility of restitution.
Oh, I understand that. There was one thing that's not really resolved yet, but there is a discussion about restitution. Restitution means you would pay somebody or owe somebody a certain amount of money. And that appears to be for the damage to the vehicle, which apparently was owned by an individual named Tobias Reiner, R-Y-N-E-R. Now that amount of restitution is not yet known, and whether or not it's payable to Mr. Reiner or his insurance company is not yet known. But that's still another issue that could be discussed. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Barnett has probably talked to you about the Michigan sentencing guidelines, gone over any prior criminal history you may have, and he's trying to give you an idea as to what he believes the court could sentence you to. My question, however, is, has he or anyone promised you exactly what the sentence would be from this court?
No.
Knowing all that, do you still wish to enter the plea of guilty to the added count 2 that we discussed earlier?
What was that?
It's okay. Do you still wish to plead guilty to that added count 2, the 2-year felony?
Yes, I do.
All right. So as to added count 2, flee and elude in the 4th degree, a felony punishable by up to 2 years and or $2,000 and Secretary of State sanctions against your license. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Before the court can accept your guilty plea, the court must have you tell me what you've done that makes you guilty of that offense. Turn your attention back to May 5th of 2024, here within the city of Cadillac in Wexford County. Were you operating a vehicle?
Yes, I was.
And where were you driving that vehicle?
I can't remember exactly what road I was on, but I was in town. I remember that.
And did a law enforcement officer try to get you to stop your vehicle?
Yeah, they did.
All right, and I said your vehicle. It wasn't your vehicle, it was somebody else's. Am I right, or was it yours?
Yeah, it was Tobias's.
Okay, and did you see this law enforcement officer try to stop you?
Yes, I did.
What did that officer do that signaled to you to stop? Did he wave his hands? Did he turn on sirens? Just tell me. I'm sorry, go ahead and repeat that. There's a slight breakup in the communication. Go ahead, sir.
He turned his lights on, but that was it.
All right, and was he in a marked patrol vehicle?
Yes, he was.
And did you see those lights?
Yep.
Was he right behind you?
He went by me and then he did a U-turn and then turned his lights on.
Was there any question in your mind that he was trying to get you to stop the vehicle?
Yes, there was.
There was question?
Oh, that he wanted me to stop?
Yeah, that's okay. Let me repeat the question. Let me ask it in a slightly different way. When you saw the police car turn around, turn on its lights, did you realize he was trying to stop your vehicle?
Yes, I did.
And then did you stop right away?
No, I took off.
All right, you took off. Explain that. Did you accelerate the speed?
Yeah.
Were you in like a residential area, or were you on, say, Mitchell Street, the main street downtown, or maybe give me a slightly better idea of where you were?
It was pretty dark. I wasn't really paying attention too much to the street signs, but I'm pretty sure I was on the main road or close to it anyways.
All right, so you accelerated speed. How was it that the car ended up stopping? Was there some kind of accident?
Yeah, I eventually ended up rolling the car and then the car was upside down, so.
All right. Mr. Carnes, do you believe the defendants provided the factual basis to support the taking of a plea that has to add to count 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Barnett, do you agree, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Carnes, do you aware of any other promises, threats, or inducements?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Barnett, how about you, sir?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Carnes, do you believe the court is in compliance with Michigan Code 6.302?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Barnett, how about you?
I agree.
The court agrees and finds the defendant's plea today is made freely, knowingly, and voluntarily. The court further finds that the testimony provided by the defendant under oath on the record satisfies the elements for the plea to the added count 2, flee and elude under the penal code in the 4th degree. Therefore, the defendant is found guilty of count 2. Count 1 will be dismissed at the time of sentencing. Mr. Cassidy, the case now will be set for sentencing. Sentencings typically take place in this court on Monday mornings. I can predict that yours is probably going to be 5 weeks from this coming Monday. Between now and then, an agent of the Michigan Department of Corrections, which is also known as the Probation and Parole Office, will prepare what's called a pre-sentence investigation report. This report is prepared anytime someone's convicted of a felony in a court in Michigan. This report will include a description of the offense, the description of the pretrial agreement, any statements or information you make while preparing this report, as well as a report of your prior criminal history, a scoring of the sentencing guidelines, and it will make a recommendation as a sentence. Please keep in mind it is merely a recommendation, as it is the court alone that determines your sentence. There are 3 steps that involve you in the preparation of this report. First, you will receive a packet of information and you will open it up, follow the instructions, and turn it back in to the Department of Corrections. 2, you'll be subject to an interview with that agent, and you have the right to have your attorney present at the time of that interview. And 3, Mr. Barnett will come by and most likely speak with you about this report prior to coming back to court, because each side has the right, when we come back to court, to request changes or corrections to the report, and they can make objections to the information contained therein. The reason is that we must make sure that that information is complete and accurate before the court issues a sentence based upon it. Do you understand, Mr. Cassidy?
Yes, I do.
Now, another thing here is you must make sure you maintain good communication with your attorney. It is through your attorney that the court will inform you of when you need to be back to court again. Do you understand?
Yep.
All right, asked to adjust the plea. Anything else, Mr. Carnes?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Barnett?
No, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Barnett, we bring up your issue regarding bond. Go ahead, sir. Wait, any objection to hearing this?
No, I waived the timelines. Thank you.
Now it's up to you, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep.
I did file, by the way, in conjunction with this plea, a petition seeking HYTA status. What we probably did not inform the court, he has a DV pending, which is going to become a disorderly conduct in district court. That was not part of this, although it.
What is his bond on the DV?
His bond on the DV, which his girlfriend went in to pay this week, is $500. They can afford a $500 bond in the district court. And up here, it's $2,500. And she didn't realize that. There were some phone calls made and we double checked and there was a bond set on each matter. I wonder if the court would consider a PR bond, knowing that he's going to pay the district court. He'll be out on a bond. To not only be a good communicator, but stay out of trouble. And he's recommended to get HIDA on the disorderly conduct, which is usually fines and costs anyway. But that's part of our global settlement. However, for whatever reason, that case stayed down there, and we'll resolve that immediately after the case is sentenced.
All right.
So just asking for a PR. He's 18. He was in the innovation school.
Well,
He has. Go ahead.
technically, I'm still enrolled into the innovation school. And since I've been in here, I haven't been able to do any of my stuff because it's all online. But
I understand.
So he has a mailing address that he's ready to provide the court.
What is your mailing address, Mr. Cassidy? And is that in Cadillac?
no, that's in Grand, Michigan.
Grand, all right. I was gonna say, I've never heard of Sand Lane here. Yes, sir.
I'm concerned because I think that's his grandpa's address, and as far as I know, there's a no contact order with his grandpa
So
in the district court. Which,
Is that domestic defense allegation involving the grandfather?
yes, Your Honor.
How would that happen here? Because Ron is in,
It
Oh, it happened here?
It happened about 12 hours after what he just pled to.
So
I'm sketchy on the details, but it happened within.
Your Honor, the no contact is specific to that address as well. That's
So,
what the address is listed.
his girlfriend lives there. I know this will sound odd, but his girlfriend, Estrella Jones, lives there. And she's responsible for his mail and will be getting it to him. He's finding another location to live.
all right, so nothing the court will do will modify the bond condition that is issued in the district court. If there is a no contact and not to go to that address, clearly, nothing I'm going to say is going to change that term or condition. All right, got it. Anything else, Mr. Barnett?
No, just that he's young. He's applying for the work at Taco Bell before that. So he has worked. He is a worker. I recommend he get out, if he gets out, to get a job and get his schooling straightened around.
Which,
Yes, sir, Mr. Cassidy, was there something else you wish to say?
the job I was working at before all of this happened, they said that they would take me back when I get out and whatnot, so.
Where was it that you were working, sir?
Taco Bell on Chum's Corner in Traverse City.
Which is right by Grant. Afraid he's setting himself up for failure. But, all right, Mr. Carnes, your response to the defense's request.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, my response is complicated. I am concerned about potential violating the no contact order. I have spoken with Grandpa. He is 100% behind this entire global resolution here, and I apologize to the court. I completely forgot about the other case earlier when we were in the chamber. But Grandpa also wants a break. He wants the no contact order to continue. That's what he told me 3 weeks ago when last I talked to him. That's my biggest concern. I would note that the defendant has additional conditions of random drug and alcohol testing to include no recreational marijuana. And I would note he was very successful on juvenile probation over the last year with similar conditions regarding drugs, alcohol, and recreational marijuana. So I hope he's successful here. I'll kind of just punt and leave bond in the court's discretion with all that. I just hope he has a plan to not have contact with Grandpa. That's my biggest concern here. Thank you.
I hope he has a plan too. The court will modify the defendant's bond. Court will make this a personal recognizance bond with the following terms or conditions. Defendant must continue to maintain employment or seek employment. He must also continue to end or work on his high school equivalency program. Let me see if there are any other terms or conditions. The remaining terms or conditions will remain in effect. However, please note that the district court's terms or conditions have been modified by the circuit court already in the scheduling conference order issued by this court on May 16th. Specifically, the defendant is not to use or possess alcohol or illegal controlled substances or recreational marijuana, and is subject to random testing at community corrections. The district court places its terms or conditions for testing in a way that this court does not. It has testing once a week or testing by law or court. I don't find that testing by law or court means anything. So I make it random, and I don't do it once a week. If they call him 2 days in a row, that's perfectly fine. If they call him 6 times in the next month, that's perfectly fine. The other term or condition is that the defendant is not to operate a motor vehicle and a place open to the public. Anything else, Mr. Barnett?
We just tell Mr. Cassidy if he is released to immediately go to the community corrections office downstairs, check in, and sign yourself up for their program of oversight.
Madam Clerk, it looks like you said pizza, which I'm sure is not what you said.
Can you also order him
That's their courthouse, right?
supervision?
Yep. Hold on, Mr. Cassidy, Madam Clerk.
I won't be able to get a packet over to the jail before he is released, so if he's, can be ordered to go to
I will.
probation and parole.
Mr. Cassidy, when you are released here today, the court orders you to, just like Mr. Barnett was directing you to do as well, to immediately report to the Department of Corrections, again, also known as probation and parole office. And you need to go to community corrections because you need to sign up for testing. They are right across the hall from one another. They are in this courthouse in what we still call the new half of the building on the first floor. So you will get from the jail, somehow get yourself over here, go to those 2 offices. All right, sir?
All right.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Cassidy, about what we have done today?
No.
Really highlight for you, make sure you're compliant with your terms or conditions of your bond. How you do on bond goes a long way with this court when it comes to sentencing. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you all very much. We are adjourned.